Braxton, Jarratt. I'm the CEO of Clearleap. We build video infrastructure to help bring essentially any video source into the television environment through your cable, satellite, or IPTV provider. So it gives the operators a way to instantly pull content from any source and make it available on TV. Really anything from cell phone video all the way up to premium primetime programming from the programmers you know and love. The main reason why we're here is because all interactive TV applications ride on video and ideally interact with the video. And that's been a problem with ITV going mainstream and having a large variety of applications. It's difficult to take video from the traditional VOD, pitcher, catcher, asset management system and make that available on an ITV application. What our platform does is allows ITV apps to directly plug into the fabric of the web, pull video directly bypassing satellite, pitcher, catcher, asset management systems and make those available to applications and widgets on TV. Well, obviously there's the challenge of all the different formats and standards or lack thereof. Although if you talk to most people, they'll tell you that the issue is more eyeballs than anything. They wouldn't mind developing 2 or 3 different versions of an app, just like they do in the mobile world if there were 100 million customers that they could divvy up the effort between. So I think Verizon's interesting because they're now deploying widgets pretty widely and they're getting a lot of interest from consumers and content providers. You're also seeing a certain critical mass come to bear now with eBIF on the cable side. And then while there's no exact standard for CE widgets, if you look at what Roku and set-top box manufacturers and gaming systems are doing, there's actually quite a bit of built-in interactivity to those where you have video sources, the ability to stream, and interactive elements. And so I think when you add all those up, you're starting to see pretty interesting numbers for ITV applications, and I think we're just starting to see people be willing to really invest in new kinds of applications across those platforms. ETV's been waiting for standards for a couple dozen years, so I don't think a standard's going to suddenly make it worth people's while. And the odds of getting satellite, IPTV, cable operators, and the CE industry to all start working together is just, it's not going to happen. And so I think that we should do what we can to try to get people to agree on some base set of standards and functionality, but I think it's pointless to try to wait till there's a perfect standard that works across every place. I think a lot of this is going to be driven by the market. If you have the eyeballs, then people are going to build, and that's going to end up becoming a de facto standard. And it may be that we just have 2 or 3 core ways of doing ITV, and that's just the way it is. If you want to have 100 million eyeballs, then you develop 3 or 4 apps. It's working for Netflix. Netflix has clients that work on Roku boxes, a number of TVs, and then all the game consoles will be represented shortly. And those were all, there was no standard, that was just a custom lightweight integration they had to do for all of them. There's been a lot of talk about these new set-top boxes and over-the-top and how that may be motivating some of the traditional multi-platform service providers to start moving faster on ITV. I think that's been a big issue is with Netflix and other types of applications on Roku boxes and TiVo boxes and all these connected CE devices, you're essentially getting interactivity now as just a built-in de facto piece of your overall television experience with these devices. I think it's always been a tough proposition to get a consumer to plug in a new box and have a new remote and teach the rest of the family how to use it, and that's been a real barrier to those things. But there's actually so much utility and value now that for a Roku box, a standalone box does nothing but play movies initially from Netflix. People are willing to pay the money and hook it up, and they're getting phenomenal usage, and they're approaching 1 million boxes sold. That combined with the game consoles means you're getting a huge installed base of these boxes, and people are really using them. I was just learning that between Netflix, Pandora, and the Amazon On Demand stuff, they're getting incredible daily usage stats from these things. So people are not only buying them, hooking them up, using them, but now they're making them part of their daily lives, and I think that's pretty interesting. That's probably the single biggest thing I'm seeing and I'm excited about.